This note sheet is shorter than the ones we've done. It is only a front side. So first thing, throw your name on here. This is second hour. We are learning our third representation of how to find slope. So we have slope equals blank equals blank equals blank. Those are actually fractions. We have 3 different fractions that we can use to describe slope. So slope is rise over run to the right. When we write that one, that's the one that I spell the rise wrong. So I remember Y's go on top. So we've got rise over run right. In the middle, we've got what we did on Tuesday, which is the change in our Y values over the change in our X values. Instead of writing out the word change, I'm going to use a triangle. It means change. So change in Y over change in X. And then our new one for today is a slope formula. So this formula, it seems a little complicated the first time we write it down, but I think once we start putting in numbers, we'll understand where things came from. So your formula is on top, y2 minus y1. And when we say y2, you write the letter y, and then do a little 2 down to the side. Minus y1. So those are subscripts. Over. Do you guys have a question? We're learning how to find slope from 2 ordered pairs. X2 minus X1. So Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So what that means, X and Y are the points in our ordered pair, so X comes first, then Y. The ones and twos, ones mean that it's from your first ordered pair. Twos mean that it's from your second ordered pair. So X2 means the X from the second ordered pair. Y1 means the Y from the first ordered pairs. So things that we need to remember. Y's always go on top. X's always go on bottom. And then it's always the second minus the first, the second minus the first. So rise is Y's, change in Y's is Y's, Y2 minus Y1 is Y's. Y's always go on top. Okay, I put a little hint here. Label the X's and Y's in your 2 ordered pairs. So if you label them X1, Y1, and X2, Y2, it makes it way easier. Any questions right now? Okay, I'm going to zoom into our first example then. We've got 2 examples that we are going to do just using this formula. So the first thing that I'm going to do, just right above it, where it says 2, 1, I'm going to label that X1, Y1. Because that is the X and the Y from my first ordered pair. Okay. Then 5, 3, I'm going to label that X2, Y2. That is the X and the Y from my second ordered pair. Okay. I'm gonna write down our formula so we know exactly what we're plugging in. So it's Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. So our Y2 value, what is our Y2 value? 3. So we have labeled, it's the Y from our second order pair, it's 3. So we've got 3 minus our y1 value is 1. So 3 minus 1 on top. And then on bottom, we've got x2 minus x1. So x2 is my x from my second ordered pair, so it's 5. Minus x1 is my x from my first ordered pair, so it's 2. So right now what I've done is I plugged in my 4 numbers. I have 4 numbers total. All 4 of them get used. Okay. Any questions about either of the, or anything that we've plugged in before we do the math? Okay. So from there, you just do the addition and or the subtraction on the top and the bottom. So 3 minus 1 is 2. 5 minus 2 is 3. So now we have 2 over 3. Can that be reduced? No. So then our answer is just 2/3. Oh, 2/3. All right. Any questions about that one? Okay. Scooching over. Let's do the next one. -1, 2, and 3, -4. First thing that I'm going to do is label my x's and y's. So this is x and y from my first ordered pair. This is x and y from my second ordered pair. Okay. So now we can do y2 minus y1 on top. I'll write it down again. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So y2, what is my y2 value? -4. Awesome. Minus, what is my y1 value? 2. So -4 minus 2 on top over, on bottom, I've got x2, which is 3, minus -1. Okay, here is something that it's important that we pay attention to. If we have to subtract a negative, that is the same as adding a positive. 3 minus -1 is the same thing as 3 plus 1. So on bottom here, 3 minus -1 is the same thing as 3 plus 1. That gives me 4 on bottom. So taking away a bad thing is a good thing. Agree? So taking away a negative ends up being a positive when we are subtracting. Okay, and then on top, -4 minus 2. I take away $4 and I take away another $2. That is -6. So I now have -6 over 4. Am I done at this point? No. What can I do? What is the mathematical word for that? Starts with an R. Reduce or simplify. Yes, those are both correct. Reduce or simplify. We can divide both the top of our fraction and the bottom of our fraction by 2. So -6 divided by 2 is -3. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. So this is -3/2 is my answer. Hey, we've got one more problem, but we are going to do the one more problem 3 times. So we're going to do the same problem 3 times, which seems silly, but I want to make sure that you guys see how similar these three things are. That this is three ways to do the same thing. So moving down, we have some ordered pairs. I've got a graph. I've got my new formula we're doing today, and I've got a little empty table. And I want to show you that we can find the same slope of the same 2 points in three different ways, and they will all be the same. So let's go in the order that we learned them. Let's start with the graph. So negative 2, 4, or first of all, I'm going to label this. We did this in 2.1. So 2.1 is when we did slope on a graph. So negative 2, 4 means we would go left 2, up 4. Six, negative 2 means we would go right 6, down 2. And then we can connect those into a straight line. From there, I want to count my slope. So to count a slope, I can tell that this is a negative slope. So I'm going to go down and to the right. So looks like I go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So down 6. And then I am going to the right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. To the right 8. So that means my slope is rise over run. So it is negative 6 over 8. We're going to reduce that in a second. I want to show you how to find it with the other two first. In 2.2, we gave you guys a table of values, and we had you find your slope from a table of values. We can take these two ordered pairs, and we can make a little table out of them. So I'm going to write xy, so I'm going to write negative 2, 4, and then 6, negative 2. Okay, we need to find the change in our y values. So the change in our y values to go from 4 down to negative 2. We go down 4, 4, 3, 2, 1 to get to 0. And then we go down another 2. So it's minus 6. And then from negative 2 to positive 6 for our change in our x values, it would take us 2 to get up to 0 and then 6 more to get up to 6. So 2 plus 6 is 8. So we go up 8. So we got negative 6 over 8. Hey, look, crazy. That's negative 6 over 8. Okay, the last way that we know how to find slope is 2.3, what we did today, which is y2 minus y1. So that's going to be negative 2 minus 4 over x2 minus x1. So it's going to be 6 minus negative 2. Okay, negative 2 minus 4 is negative 6. 6 minus negative 2. Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So 6 minus negative 2 is the same thing as 6 plus 2. So that's positive 8. So we have now done the same problem 3 times and gotten the same answer. Because if it's the same 2 ordered pairs, it doesn't matter whether you put it on a graph, use a table, use a formula, you should get the same solution because it's the same thing. That's like me saying when I leave my house and I drive to school, it doesn't matter whether I drive down the highway, whether I drive down 6th Street, whether I drive down McVicker and then up 21st Street. It doesn't matter which of those 3 ways I drive to school, I still end up in the same parking spot out there. But actually, I parked in a different parking spot today because there was someone way too close to my parking spot. Okay. Anywho, let's finish this out. What is the one last thing that we need to do? Simplify or reduce. So 6 and 8 can both be divided by 2. So if I divide the top by 2 and the bottom by 2, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. And 8 divided by 2 is 4. So negative 3/4 is my final answer for this one. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and stop my recording.